All right, is everything good on here? Okay, cool. This live stuff is like really not my favorite thing to do, but I am doing it anyway because I feel like more people are, um, I feel like the algorithm puts out the lives more than my regular videos, and I love doing my regular videos and things like that. Like I really do because I like to edit. I actually do like to edit, even though it may take me a day or two. And I like to create a form of art. But I feel like as I keep looking, a lot of commentators out there, such as Candace Owens, such as Nick Fuentes, who we're going to talk about today, they are always live and they're not really using a pre-recorded videos unless they are pre-recording it from their lives. And I found that to be, I don't really like that. Some videos are that Candace does is like um pre-recorded and like are put out there to create like a piece of art, but you know, I feel like most of the times it is live, and they have like much more advanced things than I do. But I'm here to just talk about my perspectives on things, and people like my perspective. Some people don't like my perspective. By the way, if you're new to this live, my name is Bruce Williams. I am a political commentator. Yes, I am a homosexual, and I'm very, very right wing. Like I think I'm more right wing than Donald Trump. I really am. But I really want to get into the interview that happened between Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes, which I have been wanting to like. I wanted that to be happening for so long, like probably since last year when Candace Owens got fired from the Daily Wire. And I went to this interview thinking that this interview was going to be like so like talking about the occupation and the control over our government when it comes to Israel and the Jews, or I thought that it was going to go into like the Iranian war, talk about a lot of the issues that they have faced together when it comes to council culture and all this kind of stuff. But I watched it, so you don't have to, because I'm gonna really just come on here and spill the whole entire tea about it. Because I can't even put, to be honest, if I wanted to make like a pre-recorded video about it all, add clips and things like that, I can't, because Candace Owens has put up like a copyright strike on everyone who has been sharing the video and who have been putting on YouTube or pre-recording the live and things like that. So it's a whole mess. But let's just say that I watched the Nick Fuentes interview with Candace Owens, and to be honest, I didn't really like it. I didn't like it. I thought that it was such a waste of time. I don't think that anyone should be paying even $1.99 for it, because honestly, as much as I love Candace Owens, I think it was a waste of time. I really did. Like I truly think that the Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes interview was such a waste of time if they was just gonna sit there and just, you know, she wanted to just go in and just clamor over old shit that he said and try to get a got you moment on him about, why should not have me on my on her show? Why is she like, doing this, doing that? I think she's a fed. I think this and that. I think to honestly, to just say it plainly, I think that they both, it's just a big misunderstanding. It's just they are so completely different, and in so many different ways than ever before. Like they're just despite that they are conservative, Catholic, who are right wing. They are so completely different. It's like black versus white. Actually, black versus white. It's like apples versus oranges. It's so crazy to me watching it and thinking that they will come to like this conclusion on like how similar they are, but they are totally different. And I think that it's great. I think that it's great to have totally different people, but I do think that they they should at least come to like the same agreement about what is wrong with our government today, and why is America sending billions upon billions of dollars a year, and why is there so many Jewish billionaires and people who are not even billionaires that are Jewish sending so much money, like contributing so much money to candidates or to organizations simply because they are putting another foreign nation first, such as Israel. And I think that the whole interview was really such a cat fight on you said this about me. No, you said this about me. Oh, you said this about me. When the real premise is when Nick Fuentes first starts the interview and he goes in and he gives his perspective on how he got ostracized by the right. He first goes into like all of this mess that happened like when he was in college and he was a freshman in college and things like that. How when he was 17 to 18 years old, he was a big major Ben Shapiro fan at one time. He was a big fan of PragerU at one time. He was basically a regular, Republican that just got into politics at such a young age. He said he started getting into politics when he was 12 years old. It interested him, but he further became more and more right. And he got into the lore basically of how he became who he is today, which was, in college people were, very, not the nicest, obviously, because he was Trump supporter. He would wear his MAGA hat everywhere, his rosary everywhere, and he was so proud to be a Catholic, so proud to be pro-America, and so proud to be pro-Trump. And he wanted to start a debate um, with other college students on the school site. And when they set up the debate, he had 30,000 people that watched his debate with some leftists or whatever like that about America and the policies that's here in America. And there was some people that was recording him specifically. It was a woman that recorded the whole thing, and she worked for the Daily Wire, and she basically wanted to give him like an opportunity to make a show with the Daily Wire. He became a writer for the Daily Wire. He was in the cusp of making a show, and they wanted to say like, oh, like what show do you want to call this show, like for people to know who you are. And he was like, oh, I'll just do it Nicholas J. Fuentes. It was like, oh, but people don't really know who you are yet, so we have to come up with a name. And he said that the reason why America First became America First is basically because in Trump's inauguration, he says like, the what was it? He said something on the lines that our policy would be basically just America First only, and he took that on and he made that his whole entire thing America First, and that's how he became Nick Fuentes America First. But as he was working with the Daily Wire and, in contact with a lot of these people that were other writers that were Jewish, and, the person that recorded him and put him on the spot, um, she literally came from a trip from Israel, and she basically asked him, like, oh, like, are have you ever been to Israel? Like, do you want to like go to Israel one day? And he was like, no, all the things that I love here is here in America, because he was so pro America. But as he started to work with these people more about um, trying to get into writing and making the show, he started to ask more questions about what is the alliance with Israel and America, and why do we send so much money overseas to this foreign nation? And what's the significance of that? And him just asking that question alone, it it made them it turned them off from him. And as soon as I turned them off from him, and he kept asking questions about all these Jewish billionaires sending money overseas, and wanting to make America policies to be Israel first policies. They blocked him, they ostracized him, they didn't want nothing to do with him. They called him anti-Semitic. Ben Shapiro actually quote tweeted him years ago and said that saying that a Jew has dual loyalty to Israel is quote unquote anti-Semitic, which is crazy, because if we can say like, oh, like he also said this before in one of his shows, and that's why Ben Shapiro quote tweeted him, like, if you are Mexican first, go to Mexico. If you are Chinese first, go to China. If you are Israel first, go to Israel. That's anti-Semitic. That's what they claim. But it's like we can say it to any other race, but we won't get ostracized for that. But when it comes to Jewish people, it's a whole different story. So he goes into like this whole entire thing about the lore of how he became who he is and why he has so many of these different thoughts about Israel and the Jews and Candace. And I really thought that she was going to like show some sort of empathy or some sort of like, relatism, like with understanding where how he become who he is and why. um Oh my god. It made me so angry. It made me absolutely so angry because how can you not how do you go from talking about, his cancellation within the right and not coming to his level to understand why they are both so similar? Someone said, I watched it too, and you are breaking it down well. I think Candace was really petty and ruined the interview by talking about her feelings. Exactly. And I thought that when it comes down to all of this, they're both ostracized by the same people. And I don't understand why she is so adamant to, put him in this corner because he came from Dave Smith. What he said about Dave Smith was so true. I think that it was so true. I honestly, I agree with both of them 100%, but I agree so much with Nick. When it comes down to, they have this token Jewish person to sit here and talk about the lobbying in this country by way of AIPAC and Israel and the Jewish billionaires and things like that, because it hits softer than it does from a Catholic white man. You know what I mean? A Catholic white man, which Jewish people, like, for the most part, who are like religious Jews, they believe that it's anti-Semitic to even talk about who murdered Jesus. It's anti-Semitic to even for any non-Jew to even criticize Israel. And I think that even these people out here that are, these Jews that are rabbis or whatever, ethically Jew, they do have some sort of stance for Israel, despite they may not been there. Like Dave Smith, like in the interview, McKenna said like, oh, he's never visited Israel. He actually is married to a Catholic wife, but he still is, proclaiming that anti-Semitism is on the rise. I think that I truly do think that he is picked um to say these things because it hits softer. I truly do. And I think that the fact that Candace couldn't understand that and wouldn't acknowledge that, it just blew my mind. And it to be honest, and when they was going into like the at the very ending of the interview about low IQ, I found her to be very low IQ. Like I really did. Like it's obvious that you just can't even you can't in your brain you can't even see where he's coming from. You just want, oh, no, because Dave Smith's my friend and I suck him off. It like you just I just don't agree with you. I just don't agree with you. It's like, why can't you? It's obviously true. It's true. Like he is put up there to soften the blow on being to criticize Israel and the Jews in this country. And I don't understand why it's so bad to say. We can talk about trans people all the time. We can talk about gays all the time. We can talk about blacks all the time. We can talk about whites, especially whites. I truly think that white people are actually have become the most oppressed people in this country, even though they are still the majority of this country. I truly do feel like that. They might not be the majority in the near future with all this immigration that Trump is rolling in for all these fucking immigrants from India and they're much smarter. They're much smarter than us, even though they come from shit countries, to come here to work at our jobs, to work in big tech and all these different things. White people may not be here much longer. They're gonna come here. They grant some citizenship. You know what that means? It's the melting pot that they claim that they want here, obviously. I can't really get truly into it because I would probably get demonetized, which is fine. I don't give a fuck no more. I'm honestly over it. But I think that the premise of the interview and all this back and forth about, oh, did you know me? Did you know me? Did you know, did you talk to me? Did you not talk to me? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care about none of that. Can you get to the problem of the issue in this country? Can you stop talking? Like, I'm talking about Candace. I don't understand why Candace just couldn't just leave that for the end of the interview, honestly. Let's talk about the real problems here at hand. Instead of trying to put him in a corner, let's talk about, oh, why is he not married at 26 years old? Look at his life. Look what happened. Look what happened to him. Look how he was ostracized. It's so easy for her to say that because she was not ahead. You know, he is almost like a Kanye. He's 10 years ahead. He is 10 years ahead. He's way more ahead than all of us. Even me. I mean, I was more ahead than most of the people that's now like texting me and be like, oh my God, like you was right. Like I should never voted. Oh my God, like Trump is literally a sellout, like all this kind of stuff like that. I was years ahead because I listened. I see patterns. I truly think I do have even though he says like black people don't have like a higher IQ. I'm not saying he's not saying that we're not smart. I truly think that I'm a smart person. Like it just takes like listening and looking at patterns. And you know, doing that, it is a result of like someone who has like a pretty higher IQ. You know, I may not talk as swiftly and all that kind of stuff. That's just not me as a person. But I think I think it's okay to see patterns, you know, and to see the issues at hand. And I don't understand why Candace couldn't see that and couldn't convey and understand where he was coming from. And her being so like ostracized by the same people that she have been in deep relations with, and see how they turn their back on her like that. Why wouldn't you not have him on the podcast last year? I don't believe it. You should have had him on the podcast years ago. You should have honestly walked away from Daily Wire years ago. Honestly. Because I don't feel like this wasn't this just because it wasn't on the mainstream. I don't think that it was not ever talked about. I feel like they're coming from a place where this is just now something that people are talking about. No. And for her to say like, oh, I don't think that people would understand or relate to what you're talking about because they're not there where you at. And I think that the way that Dave Smith talked about, I think people can relate to that more. And it would, I guess, like grasp like a bigger audience because it's Dave Smith. But I feel like way more people actually resonate with Nick Fuentes more than what she thinks. And I do think that it does come down to that she is just like a mom, a woman that is, you know, so engulfed in her family, which she should. I think that it's great that she is a conservative woman that is engulfed in her family with her husband, and you know, now she's not in the realm of the Groyper Twitter space and knowing who Nick Fuentes truly is. I don't believe that she truly knew who he is, but I do think that she knew of him. I don't like the fact that she said I don't know him. You know of him enough to know that he was, you know, blacklisted, that he was the most evil guy that, you know, this podcast was about, like sitting down with the most hated evil guy in the world. So I don't believe that she didn't know of him. Of course, I don't think that she knew him as a person, like as a friend, like me and you, if we were sitting here talking as friends. But she knew of him. She had conversations with him before. Why she act like that she didn't know him? Why is it because the ADL was on her ass and she just wanted to like, you know, keep them off, or to not seem like the anti-Semitic person? Because I do think that that's what it stems from, and that's what Nick was trying to say to her, that when you come out and you have Dave Smith on your podcast, other than Nick Fuentes or a Jake Shields or I don't even know, I think that it really becomes like a non-issue. I do. I think it becomes a non-issue. It becomes where, you know, people, oh, it's okay for him because, you know, it won't be anti-Semitic. Or it's just like, can I put it in this perspective? It's almost like Candace. She's a spokesman for being anti-BLM, right? And I think that it's much more easier to digest from her that, you know, BLM was a scam, other than if it was like a white guy coming out and talking about that BLM was a scam and that all this different stuff. I think it's just a way to make it more, to digest it more. And I don't know. I just think that this interview was just not what I expected it to be. I wanted to be much more on policy, much more on probably even talk about JFK, talk about the Mossad, talk about how dangerous it is to have these people in our country. Why didn't they talk about the Hebrew Immigration Aid Society? Why didn't they talk about all the things that Joe Biden did in his presidency that allowed so many of these illegals to come in here by way of Alejandro Mayorkas? I don't. I think there is so much that they could have talked about other than you said that, you said that, you said this. It was she want to talk about how Nick Fuentes is so immature. No, I found Candace, I love you and I respect you 100%. I feel like I'm over here talking to her. But I found you to be very immature and petty. Really, just like this comment said, petty and ruined the interview by talking about her feelings. 100%. And I don't like the fact that she was gaslighting him into thinking that he's selfish also for not wanting to have a family at that age and and not wanting to have his wife and kids or whatever like that if he ever has those have kids or whatever, which I think he will, but not right now, into a life of destruction, chaos, and people wanted to come and kill him. We've seen like early as last year where there was someone literally at his door with a gun who murdered I think two people prior to coming to his house over his views. And I think that having a family and dealing with all that, I don't think that it would be right to do that. Actually, I do think that he's being selfless. I truly do. So I agree with Nick Fuentes on most things. I truly do. I think that he is, like he said, he is the future. Candace is just now getting to this. I think Candace's perspective will change over the course of the years. Um, Oh, yes. Did you see how they edited the trailer for the interview? Yes, I did. I didn't appreciate that either. I didn't appreciate that. But that's how I feel like that's how she wanted it to come out as. I really do feel like that he was bum rushed. I truly do. I love Candace and I will continue to support Candace, but it my respect points went down to like a 5 because it was at a 10. Now it's at a 5 because why are you making this about you and making this about y'all supposed beef when it really wasn't like that? I think for the most part, when Candace Owens was fired, he wanted people to support her. That's why I remember watching his shows, and I think that she just don't watch his shows all the way, and that's what it comes down to. I don't think that neither of them watch the shows that they make all the way, And to be honest, they're long as hell. Like all of them are an hour long. All of them are like it's filled with so much information, so many different ideas, and so many different questions. And I think that it's hard to watch all of that. Even I, as a person who works from 10 to 6:30 a.m. in the morning, it's hard for me to come home. Am I back? Okay. It's hard to come and watch, all these videos and wanting to know more information, and I just think that it was just a lot of miscommunication. Hold up. Someone says, Nick was really nice, even though he got ambushed. Ye would have walked out in 5 minutes. I agree. I think Ye would have walked out in 5 minutes. But they are. What I found to be funny is that they're both friends with Kanye, and um, it's crazy that they never had a sit down conversation actually about all the issues that is going on in this country and how how we're so in deep with the Israeli lobby to send money overseas to further much more tension that it shouldn't even be. And I think that this was it was it, it, it was a useless interview. I think that she has had more productive interviews, but this one I felt like it was just it was nothing. And I don't advise anyone to go pay for it. I don't advise anyone to go pay for it. I don't advise anyone to go on her website and watch 2 hours of just mess. It was absolute mess. And I think that um people should just watch their shows. Just watch both of their shows differently because I watch their shows regularly, both of them individually, but they're nothing alike. They're just nothing alike. They're both very headstrong, very she's being nicer than Nick. She's being nicer to Epstein than Nick. To be honest, like I don't know, and she's more nicer to Harvey Weinstein. Even though I don't, I still don't. I've never believed actually that Harvey Weinstein was physically, having, I can't say the word on her, are aping those women, because I knew, I've always known about the case and the story, because I'm a curious person. He never had a pee. Like, he doesn't have a pee. So it didn't it never made sense to me. I think that there's someone much more bigger than him, that he probably burnt, and that's why he's in the predicament that he is in. And a lot of those women are paid, just like with the Andrew Tate thing. I never believed that they did anything. I think a lot of those women willingly were, just whatever. Um, yeah, I think a lot of people are just paid out to take down these certain people because of their stances on things, or business deals gone wrong, all kinds of different things. I'm not. I don't think that we have to get into the nitty gritty of everything when we have like critically, like we have a critical thinking brain where we can just look at things and be like, oh, this is that. I don't have time to go through all of that. But I suspect that, yeah, I think that she's much more nicer to Harvey Weinstein than Nick Fuentes, which I don't like. Maybe because Nick was calling her out and she doesn't appreciate that. But hey, when shit stinks, shit stinks. And like you said, you don't know him. He doesn't really know you like that on a personal level. He felt like you was coming at him in a sly way. So, and feeling like that you were avoiding like having him on the podcast. She's invited people on the podcast that we don't even fucking know. Like, just invite them on. They didn't have to ask to come on. She invites them on. So I just feel like it was kind of sly. I do. I feel like it was sly. I don't respect that. I generally don't respect it. I don't. I don't think anyone should. There's a lot of views also that I don't agree with Nick Fuentes. Like, I think that his perspective on, you know, big pharma, big food is like completely different from me. Like, how I'm against seed oils and things like that. And he's for it, basically. He likes to eat McDonald's and shit. I lost most of my weight for not being on the seed oils is okay train. I appreciate your thoughts on it. It bugged me Candace called him triggered after he gave a really nice, real response. Exactly. And I think that she's not used to a person that is like him, because when he when she went in to say that he was selfish about not being married and things like that, and he was like, I don't like to be lectured by a woman. It's such a real conservative thing that she just isn't, a real conservative anti-feminist stance that she's just not for, really. Because I think that there are some elements of her that is libertarian, that is feminist, even though she is anti-feminist. She is a working woman. I mean, she does live a traditional conservative lifestyle, but she is a working woman. She has taken the benefits of feminism and things like that. And that's where I agree with some leftists who's like, oh, but you stay home and you have the option to have nannies and, work from home, all this kind of stuff, but like, you're still not traditional in some sort of way. So I think it was kind of like a lefty interview, in my opinion, too. I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't. And I'm happy that more people agree with me on that. I don't think I don't think it was worth a watch. I'd rather just watch them individually and separately, and have, these are two different people that you get information from Candace that you can take with a grain of salt. You get information from Nick Fuentes that you take from a grain of salt, but I lean more on the Nick Fuentes side. That's just my perspective on that, and yeah, that's really it, honestly. Do I have any more questions? I just wanted to come over here and give y'all my thoughts on what I thought about the interview, and to tell you that you don't need to go watch that shit. You really don't. Any more questions? Anything that I missed that I should talk about? It's such a mess. It truly is a mess. But I'm gonna sit here and wait. I know that more people will watch this afterwards. A lot more people watch my thanks. It was fun listening to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. By the way, if you since I get demonetized on YouTube all the time, and they always mess with my videos that I that I produce and I put out, and it makes me sad. Like there's a video that I did recently that I pre-recorded and edited and things like that that I thought was a really good video. It literally got like 24 views, but when I do a live, I get like 100 something views or more. It's like why you do this to me? So they suppressed me. So I'm on Substack as well, and I put up there like more. I can get like really in the nitty gritty and say it however I want to say and whatever I want to say on there. And I actually edit my videos and I put them on there. Like I'm gonna actually do a Jubilee watch of the Candace Owens anti-feminist thing and say my whole entire thing on that on Substack. So if you want to like follow Substack, please do. Subscribe. It's only like $5. That's it. Thank you for checking my videos out. Thank you. And I'm not saying like all my videos are perfect or anything like that. I'm not the most best speaker out there. I just come on here to share my thoughts. If you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. I don't really care. If you like me, you like me. I like you. That's just how it goes. The whole world needs to watch the documentary Occupy. I agree. And thank you so much. Yeah, I will be on Substack. Probably, I would think I'd do a video probably tomorrow. I don't know. It's been a long day, honestly. And I don't know. I wonder what she's gonna say after Nick Fuentes' reaction to the interview, because I also need to watch his reaction to the interview and see what will he say, because it seems like a lot of people, groypers or people who supports Nick, or even people who support Candace, was like, oh, it's kind of unfair, like how you came after him. And I'm excited to see what she'll say about it and what he'll say about it. So I'm gonna watch that right after this live, actually, and get a perspective. But yeah, she was copyright striking people too. I talked about that too here. She was copywriting people, and I don't like that. I don't like that she put it behind a paywall, cause she says that, oh, like I had the Harvey Weinstein thing behind a paywall and things like that. But I watched the whole video. Like, what is she talking about? I watched the whole video on her website, and I didn't see anything that we had to pay for that. I don't know. I think she's a little sly. I do. I do think she's a little sly. But I think that's it, you guys. These are my thoughts on the Candace Owens versus Nick Fuentes debate. That's how it should have been. It should have been titled the Candace Owens versus Nick Fuentes debate, because it just seemed like they was debating each other the whole entire time, and it was nothing productive. Did she put it behind the paywall because maybe she knew it was a bad interview? Probably. Because it just showed that she was actually the most immature person out of all of this, despite she is married, has 4 children, and you know, I found her to be very petty and very immature. I really did, but she can't really put Nick Fuentes' face on YouTube, honestly. Small creators probably like me, we can get away with it, but her, like, no, they'll take it down. I've seen it numerous times from other creators out there who has had Nick Fuentes on there, even Pro Davis, which I don't like Pro, but her videos got taken down too, by way of YouTube as well. So I understand why she did that, but it could have just been free. 100% free. So dumb, honestly. Or remember when she was talking about the USSR interview with that man? She said, "Oh, my pregnancy announcement. Why couldn't she just do that?" Yeah, I think it should have been on X and Rumble as well. I think that would have been good too for everyone to see. Not everyone can see it, but there is a creator on X who did put the whole entire interview on X. So I did watch that. That's how I watched it. I didn't pay for it. I wasn't going to. She should have put on Rumble. That's the thing too. I think that everyone who feels like they can't say anything, just go on Rumble. I mean, she's on Rumble. She gets paid from Rumble too, so she's not losing any money. So I found it to be very sneaky, slithery, but it is what it is. I'll continue to support her. I like her still. I like him too, but separately. I don't know. I don't blame you to pay. Don't pay for it. You can easily go on X and try to find it, the whole entire thing. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I appreciate y'all for coming on here, and anyone on here that have not known me, please subscribe. Please like, comment, whatever you want. Boost the video if you want to. And I will gratefully appreciate that. And if you want to, you can go on my Substack as well. I will be posting more and more content on there. It's only $5, and it's just for support. You know, I got banned from TikTok twice because I talked about Israel, and I talked about a lot of the different things that's happening. I have reposted a lot of my videos as well that I post on TikTok, on my shorts here. But on TikTok, I got banned twice. I've been banned twice. I've tried to come back on there. I'm over it. I'm just over it. And I was getting a good decent amount of money from TikTok, and I'm not afraid to say that. I think it's fine. Like, I'm just a regular American that who doesn't want to come on the internet and be paid to talk about their opinions. Everyone does. Candace Owens do it. Nick Fuentes does. Everyone does. And I think that it's fair if you really like someone, support them. Period. But anyways, I'm done. Thank you guys for really being in here, and thank you so much. I appreciate you for being in here and not calling me anti-Semite and all this kind of stuff, because people do like to say that, which I don't give a fuck about. Like, you can kiss my ass. Like, honestly, people can kiss my ass who call me anti-Semitic. If I was anti-Semitic, I wouldn't want. I would want. If I was anti-Semitic, I would want Palestinians dead. Let's really be real, I don't vouch for anyone to be dead. I don't vouch for anyone to be murdered. But I know who does in the Middle East and who continues to do it today. I know who does. It's not Iran. It's not Iran. But I know who does. They talk about all the time. Look at the people that is in the corner of Bibi Netanyahu. How they want to murder these people in Gaza. Like, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. That word will lose its meaning in the future. It will, and I think that it's imminent that it will. And hopefully it continues to change over and over again. And yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for being in my my live, and I will be making more lives because editing videos on YouTube and pin them up doesn't do anything for me anymore. So thank you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.